All right, so time for a personal story.
Oh, I like that.
It's not pretty. So I am in love with chili oil. Do you know what chili oil is?
I don't.
Chili oil is.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Is it the oil that is extracted from the mountainous southern ranges of Chile?
Yeah. No, that's definitely not it.
Damn it.
No, it's an Asian condiment, and it's some sort of oil, and then they put dried chilies in there with some garlics and some onions and stuff like that, and then you put it on your noodles or your stir fry, and it's give it a little kick.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
And I've been on this one for a while. It's called Momofuku, and it's been very delicious.
One more time.
Momofuku.
Momofuku.
Chili Crunch is what it's called, and it's delicious, but it's a little expensive for what you get. So I found a new chili oil that's homemade from one of our local stores. Long story short, I had chili oil, okay? And I went to my son's soccer game, and it just started, and my stomach just went, nope.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and I had to leave my son's... So it's farther away from my house to the soccer field than it is from the soccer field to my in-laws' house. So I'm like, I got to go to the in-laws' house. I'm going to blow up here.
Uh-oh.
Okay. And I'm speeding down this road. I'm flying down this road.
So you left your child at the sporting game.
He's there.
And away you went.
And away I went. And now to give you an idea of the speed difference, okay, a car pulls in front of me and starts to go. And I believe it was the world's last Oldsmobile 88. A green Oldsmobile 88. So just me describing the car should tell you the speed difference that occurred.
Yeah, several.
Yeah, I'm about to explode, and this 88 is going like 20.
Yeah.
And I'm like long story short, I made it. Barely.
Oh, okay,
I made
good,
it barely.
good.
Question. Would you rather be behind an Oldsmobile 88, green in color, when you are...
Big plops.
Yeah. Or would you rather watch The Big Bang Theory?
No. I'd rather shit my pants.
Yeah, there we go.
Welcome to Radical Apathy, the podcast where two half-wits set out to solve all the world's problems with pop culture references and a lackadaisical attitude. Why not? It's worked so far.
Welcome to the Radical Apathy Podcast. My name is Corbyn.
Radical Apathy Podcast. My name is Tanner.
Oh, what's going on, dude?
Oh, buddy, old pal of mine.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you.
B, this is a fortnightly podcast where we solve the world's problems.
Yeah, we're solving something.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? The world has a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And we're going to solve a couple of them.
We're going to solve one today.
Okay.
Right off the top. Right off the top of the show. I kind of hinted at you that I have a bombshell to drop.
Yeah, you sent me a text.
And you are not going to like it.
Okay. Well, we also have no guest today.
Yeah, thank Christ.
It's just us.
Yeah.
What did you think of that last guest we had?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping it'd be better.
Right? Have we had a good guest yet?
I mean, no.
No, they've all been just...
Yeah, they're there.
They're there.
Oh, ask me about this. And
me.
Talk about
me. What about you? Me too. Me.
Yeah.
Me.
No, I don't... This wouldn't get picked up for any type of serialized television based off the guests we've had.
Yeah. Should we have another guest sometime?
I mean, probably.
Yeah, probably. Should probably.
Yeah, well, get in the comments, everyone. Tell us who you want as a guest.
Or if you want someone to return.
I don't want names. I want...
Oh, okay.
Give me the... Well, yeah, if you want someone we've had before, you can say the name. But I want I want you to bring in a rodeo clown next.
Rodeo clown?
I'll find one.
Okay.
They're around. So no guests today. It's just be us. But you know what? I like it just us.
Bombshell time.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, what?
You know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to have you say that again.
Bombshell time.
No, well, not yet.
Okay.
And then we're going to have bombshell music play because this is a bombshell. Okay, ready?
Okay.
What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next, Corbyn?
Bombshell time. All right, there was the music. Fantastic. Okay. I'm going to start reading you some numbers. Because something wasn't sitting with me right the other day.
Okay.
And I want to read you some numbers, some hard facts.
Hard facts.
I'm going to tell you what the numbers are. I want you to tell me what this is.
Okay.
77 is the first number.
Okay.
Okay. The second number is 128.
Okay.
The third number is 94. And the fourth number is 140.
What is the amount of teeth you have collected in your basement?
Oh, God, no, it's way more than that.
Oh,
no. The total number of that, 4 numbers, is 439. Okay?
Yeah, I believe you.
It was previously reported, and we care about our listeners.
We really do.
And the integrity of our podcast. I'm not shitting on you personally, but something wasn't sitting right with me.
Okay.
439 is the total number of people killed by Keanu Reeves in the 4 John Wick movies. The number you provided for Arnold Schwarzenegger was 369. You can see in just 4 movies, Keanu Reeves destroys Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Say that number again.
439.
There's no way he killed 439 people in those movies.
Facts.
No, you're reading something off the internet. There is 0 ways that he, unless
John Wick killed a fuckload of people.
You're absolutely right. But there was no building explosion. Like there was no mass murder,
which is more impressive.
Which means it didn't. There was no. I've seen all of them. I'm going to say in real life it was probably. I would say probably close to 150 people shot
in one movie.
In all of them, he did not kill.
He killed
400 people.
Think about the staircase scene in part 4.
Yeah,
and think about
that was like 35 dudes.
The dragon breath scene before that.
15 dudes max.
Dude, he did 15. He did 15 on the first two levels of stairs, and then went more up.
Well, some of them are the same guys coming back and having the same.
Listen, dude.
Same fight.
Listen, I am all about the integrity of these numbers. These are John Wick official death count numbers.
I don't think that's true. I think the only thing you and I can do is hard math.
We got to watch them and do it.
Because I vehemently disagree with those numbers.
I'm telling you, these are the numbers.
We need the clickers like the Walmart greeters have when they walk in, so we can just
like those bar. What were they called? The bouncers at bars back in the day when bars
ticket
existed?
Numbers.
Yeah.
We're just gonna. That was Corbyn clicking his ticket number. Yeah. I think as we're going to do, because
bombshell.
Your number's wrong.
Fucking bombshell.
That is false news bombshelling.
That is not false news bombshelling. This is accurate news reporting.
Yeah.
And in fact, let me just say,
Jennifer Lawrence has killed 80,000 people.
Because there is some extra things that you were talking about where it's hard to tell how many people were killed in some certain. It's actually more than 140 in the last movie.
How?
I forget why.
Okay.
It had something to do with the hotel or something. I forget.
The whole argument is because that's what I'm thinking. Is the only way that number works is if there was some type of mass murder event, like an explosion.
The whole
or
movie's
building.
a mass murder.
Yeah, but like a single event.
It was 3 hours long. That fucker killed 140 people.
I don't think he did.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I think our listeners deserve
the truth
and the proper reporting on this subject.
Yeah, so what was it? What did I say it was? It was 469. 439 to Arnold's 369.
I'll be nice and give him 200 over the course of the John Wick movies.
Dude, it's way more than 200.
I don't think it is.
There's way more than 200 people dead in that.
I don't think it is.
You watch these movies.
I have.
You're insane. There's so many people that die in these movies.
Because I was taught to count at a young age.
Okay, listen. Okay, so you say that the internet doesn't count when I look it up, but when you looked up your top 5, you didn't watch every single Schwarzenegger movie and count.
I probably have at some point in time.
Listen,
but
I didn't watch every.
I didn't read to count.
The Japanese guy, you had no idea.
But you know what? I put the effort in.
I don't understand why your effort's different than my effort.
Because my effort is when I'm doing it, and it's important.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I got it.
Yeah. It's a difference in effort.
Yeah.
A class effort system, if you will.
You heard it here first, folks. Keanu Reeves 439 killed over 4 movies.
To be determined.
Versus Arnold's 369. 369.
I got a question for you, Corbin.
Yeah, please.
is where you got children.
I got children. Two boys.
Is wearing jeans bad now?
My son, oldest son, refuses to wear jeans.
It is bad now.
I went to his school
What is happening?
to pick him up for an appointment, and not a single one of those fucking kids had jeans on. They're all wearing the what are the pants? The soft
sweatpants.
Yeah, like sweatpants.
Soft pants.
But they're like better
They're
than
all wearing
sweatpants.
soft pants.
Like I know what sweatpants were like when I was young, but they're like better sweatpants.
Better sweatpants.
And he is even fighting me on wearing shorts for this. I told him this week ago. It's like it's hot all week this week. Like you're wearing shorts. But he's 13 and I think he has more leg hair than his friends. He doesn't want his friends to see his leg hair.
Okay.
And I'm just
So here's what happened. I walked out of a store this week.
Okay.
And two, I don't know, mid-teen girls were walking towards me on the sidewalk outside of the store. And they were talking to each other loudly, as teen girls do. And they were in a conversation about saying, I'm going to just call him Bradley. And they were like, yeah, I saw Bradley wearing jeans, and so I texted Samantha and said, Brad looks so gross in jeans. I mean, who wears jeans anymore? That's what they said. And as they say that, I'm about 4 feet in front of them about to cross paths. They both look up, see me wearing jeans, and then both look super awkward about it.
Yeah.
Like they got caught, I don't know, calling me Danish or something.
Yeah.
So I walked away from that thinking, I'm like, is jeans bad now? So why are they bad now?
I don't know why they're bad. I don't know why kids don't like. I don't know. And it's across the board too. Remember, like, okay, so I guess there's different phases of things. So like when if I've said this piece of information in one of our previous podcasts, because I forget what we talk about half the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Please stop me.
Okay.
So I grew up in a horrible time for like girls being attractive in high school. Okay. No, hear me out.
No, I agree with you. That's why it's funny.
I grew up in the 90s in high school, and it was the worst time for girls being attractive because girls wore bell-bottom jeans that were loose, and they wore giant flannel shirts that were like just
grunge.
You
grunging it up.
You didn't know what you were getting. You had to talk to them and listen to them and shit.
You had to get 4 dates in before you even knew what you had.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't know what you're getting, and you know. I feel like we're back to that, where my son doesn't know what he'd be getting into with some of these girls in his high school, or in his high school. Yeah.
When I went through high school, it was low cut, tight jeans and crop tops.
Really?
That was it.
Yeah, those are the day.
Yeah. But no, it's just there's a bunch of everyone's wearing sweaters and no jeans apparently. I just didn't know what. Yeah. I wanted to get to the genesis of why denim is bad.
Girls are still wearing jeans, but they're wearing like the worst version of jeans ever. It's like where the
mom jeans.
They're like they ride so high. Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not telling my wife. I'm like, I don't like these high riding jeans.
I don't like what these young girls are wearing anymore nowadays.
Because even with the bell bottoms back in the day, they were hip huggers at least. Yeah, and they you showed some ass. I'm happy with that. Yeah, to the ladies listening,
UB. They're showing UB.
Under
upper butt.
Upper butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't forget, folks, you can find all these interesting facts and more on Radical Apathy of young women's clothing and styles.
And men's clothing.
Yeah, boys don't wear jeans either.
No, boys don't wear jeans. They actually wear less jeans than girls do.
This isn't your homework, but can you find out from your son why jeans are bad? Because I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah, I've asked him this, but he can't. I'll ask him if he knows why other people don't do it. But he says for him, it's because they're just not comfortable. They're not comfortable.
Jeans?
They don't feel comfortable to me, Dad. And I'm like,
really?
I said, you're a weirdo.
That's weird. I think they're quite nice.
Yeah. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Good. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, it threw me off.
Yeah,
I wasn't ready for that comment. I'm like, jeans are out of play now.
Yeah, jeans are out.
We're losing everything. We're all gonna be in that one.
And hoodies, and it's like hoodies
are out.
No, hoodies are in.
Oh,
but like that's what they wear. They wear the jogging pants or whatever today's equivalent of jogging pants are. Yeah, sweatpants, whatever, and hoodies, and then that's it. That's what everyone wears.
That is a comfortable thing to wear.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess.
That's what I wear between the hours of 6 and 10 p.m.
Now, I guess maybe they're better than us, Corbyn. So I'm just going to try and put myself in the shoes of a young adult here.
Okay, yeah.
So remember when we went to school?
Yeah.
When we went to school, we would have to I've got this class, or I'm seeing this girl or boy this time, and I like them, so I got to make sure I wear my nice shirts, and do my hair this way, or more that it might be uncomfortable clothing, but at least you look better when you're going to school. But now they're all like, nah, who gives a shit? I just want to be comfortable when I'm at this shitty school.
Yeah.
Is that a better way to do it?
It might be.
Are they smarter? Are they smarter than us?
Especially if everyone's doing it.
And everyone just agreed. Saying,
everyone's on the same.
We're all just going to be comfortable now.
Everyone's on the same level of awfulness.
Yeah, maybe they're better than all.
My
of us.
young kid will wear jeans. He doesn't give a shit. But he's in like,
but he's
two.
Young,
he doesn't care. Yeah.
Interesting. Do we need to have a young person on? God, would that'd be so annoying though. I don't know what we talk about.
You know what? You'd have a good talk with my kid.
How much Riz?
You would talk about Hellraiser 2 and not Hellraiser. Was it called?
Helldivers 2, the movie?
No.
Helldivers.
Helldivers 2 and Call of Duty, all the things.
Great game.
Yeah. What are you playing right now?
Right now, I am, as of today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow? What day is it? Well, whatever day it is. It'll be out when you guys listen to this. Is the expansion, The Final Shape for Destiny 2 comes out.
Final Shape.
The Final Shape. So Destiny, the game, came out 10 years ago.
Okay.
And they said right out of the gate, they said we have a 10-year story plan for this game going forward. And this is Bungie, the guys that made Halo.
Okay.
So they sold Halo. They did Halos 1 through 3. ODST sold it.
They don't do Halo anymore.
No, they sold to the 343 studios who did 5, 6, and 7, the shitty ones. So then Bungie said, okay, we're doing Destiny now. 10-year plan. Here we go. And now is the 10-year plan. This is the final expansion of their 10-year plan, The Final Shape. As it goes. And I have played this game from start to finish.
Has the story been worth it?
There has been peaks and valleys, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of that, I think, more comes from the problem of just a video game problem and storytelling and more business aspect of it. But it's funny, one of the common YouTubers, because everyone does YouTube channels now, right? Including Radical Apathy.
Radical Apathy,
YouTube. Just dropped episode 14. If a YouTuber by My Name is Bife.
Bife?
Bife, B-Y-F.
B-Y-F?
That's their gamer tag. So My Name is Bife. They are colloquially referred to as the lore daddy for Destiny. Because Destiny early on had a really hard time. They had a lot of lore to the game. They had a hard time putting that in the game. And basically that came to like little cards, like little digital playing cards that you would read a story off of. Like it wasn't great.
No.
So what this guy and a lot of other people did was they just started making videos about the lore of how it goes. So in response or preparation of this last expansion of the 10-year story, he did a video that's the complete story of Destiny. So Destiny 10 years ago, number 1, and like the entire known history saga of the entire mythos of the Destiny world. And so he just put that video out. It is 10 hours and 1 minute long.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And it is in depth.
Okay. And as a casual player, did you even know any of this stuff?
Early on, no.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I've said before on gaming is that gameplay is king. It doesn't matter what it is or what you bring extras. If the gameplay, the day-to-day, hour-to-hour, minute-to-minute gameplay of the game sucks, it ain't going nowhere.
But I don't want to do homework for a game that I'm playing.
Oh, you don't have to. I mean, they'll still
like that's just I want to play a game that. First off, here's my wish list for games from now on.
Okay.
No homework.
Yeah.
No more skill trees that are confusing.
Yeah.
No more open world games. I hate open world games.
No more open world games.
No, just tell me where to go.
Because you're a boomer shooter guy.
I want to just play and not have to think about everything.
Yeah.
And I think that the trend, I think they're starting to kind of come back that way a little bit.
Yeah.
But because people are like, oh, this is too much.
No, you're right. Yeah, it's big. The indie scene's really coming back with like great hitting B title games. Because people are, I agree. But I mean, this video dropped 2.5 days ago.
Yeah.
It's 10 hours long. Jesus. It already has 677,000 views.
That's insanity.
Sorry, that's likes. That's not even views.
That's
that's views. No, that's views. 677,000 views.
Do you get counted for a view if someone watches the entire 10 hours or just maybe they watch the first hour?
Now,
I wonder.
I'm honestly new to YouTube. This is the first time that we have put something onto YouTube, and as I understand it, they have to watch at least 15 minutes of a video for us to count as a view.
See, that's
I don't know if that's time gated. Like, I don't know if like our videos are 2 hours.
Yeah.
And by videos, I mean podcast. We'll get to the video. But as we put 2 hours on, they have to make 15, or if you only put a 10-minute on, they got to make 2. Like, I don't know where that sits for YouTube, because I'm not that smart. But that's
I wonder what
that's what I'm playing.
Okay.
What are you playing?
I'm not playing anything right now. But what I have been doing is I've been collecting more ROMs for me to play on my Delta emulator. Yeah. So I've put up a couple, and I've kind of tested a couple just to see how they're playing.
Yeah.
Some of the old Batman games and stuff like that. And what else did I download? Bubble Bobble.
Bubble Bobble?
Yeah. Do you ever play Bubble Bobble?
I don't think so.
Dude, you need to play Bubble Bobble. If you've
Is it just a bubble popping game?
Yeah, you play these 2 dinosaur lizard guys.
Okay.
And there's enemies on the stage. It's by stages.
Yeah.
So you get like a structured stage like Donkey Kong would have.
Sure.
And you have to shoot your bubbles at them out of your mouth.
Yeah, as they do.
As lizards do.
Yeah.
And then it traps them in a bubble. But to kill them, you have to pop the bubble.
Okay.
And then once you pop the bubble, they give you like cherries or bananas or things to collect. Okay. And then once you kill all the people, you go to the next stage.
So are the bubbles
Bubble Bobble, one of the greatest NES games ever.
Are they basically small Euclidean galaxies that are surrounding these animals, so that when the bubble pops, this small pocket dimension itself is destroyed, thus killing the monster? Is that, or is it just a soap bubble that pops?
Yeah, it's just a soap bubble that pops,
but they still die,
and they die. And it's all kind. And then here's the thing: if you don't do it fast enough, then the remaining monsters turn red. And their speed increases by like 5 times.
It's never good when they turn red in video games.
It's hard. I know, and it's harder to get them. So, but there's some interesting ones. But there's like there's some stages where you have to blow your bubbles, and you have to jump on your bubbles to get to areas that you can't reach.
You can get on them too.
You have to jump on them.
What's this game called?
But if you bubble bobble. But if you don't time it right, then you pop your bubbles, and you don't get to jump up high.
And this was an NES game.
NES game, Bubble Bobble.
How do I know?
How do you have never heard of Bubble
Maybe if
Bobble?
I see the cover of the game, it'll pop back in my brain. Yeah, and it does. These the two little
lizard guys.
Oh, okay, so they're 2 little tiny like buck-toothed dinosaur people, blue and a green one,
and then shoot bubbles.
Yes, I remember seeing this. I don't think I've played it though.
I've downloaded a couple Contra games. What else have I downloaded? Yeah, like I said, a bunch of Batman games. So we're trying a bunch of stuff.
I'm traveling soon.
Yeah, where are you going?
I'm going to Europe.
Europe.
Yeah, is Europe?
Yeah, it's Europe.
I don't speak European. Going there, I'm also moving, as we talked about.
To Europe?
I'm not moving to Europe.
Oh,
I'm moving to North Side A.
Oh yeah.
But in my rush of packing, I found my old Game Boy Color, my old DS.
Yes, you did.
And I have found a plethora of games for it, and it still works. So that is what I'm bringing to Europe with me.
That's fucking hot.
And I've got all my games, and I'm just going to sit there and crush.
You got to bring a bunch of batteries with you, though.
Yeah. Well, so the DS is rechargeable. But the color was
Yeah.
And I found I got a bunch of batteries, but we'll see what I can sneak into the airport there. But
or you could download Delta and do it all on your phone.
Yeah, but part of me just likes. It's
actually,
some of the old school holding, right?
I wouldn't do it on your flip phone, though. For some reason, I don't think that...
Oh, you'd be poking a lot.
You'd be poking a lot.
Yeah, you'd be close on your fingers.
For our listeners, so they can stalk you and get autographs.
Yeah,
where are you going in Europe?
Well, we are flying originally into Paris, which is a town in France.
Yeah.
And we are immediately going to Amsterdam. As soon as we land, getting the hell out of Paris.
Okay.
Amsterdam.
Okay.
In Amsterdam, we're getting on a river cruise boat ship, and we are sailing down the Rhine, the river, which separates Germany and France.
Yeah.
And we're going to be hitting a bunch of different ports over the course of, 8-9 days. And then we end up in Basel, Switzerland.
It's like a riverboat cruise.
Riverboat cruise.
That's fucking cool. How'd you find that?
I don't know. It's I'm going with my sister, brother-in-law, and mother, and my wife's coming, obviously. And I think this was, I don't know whose original idea it was. We were kind of coming to some type of family trip. It's been 7 years, so finally they talked me into doing a family trip. And that's kind of where we landed.
That's pretty cool. That's a weird way to land, and everyone agrees to that. That's a pretty cool trip, though, dude.
Yeah, it would be some nice way to do it.
And remember your homework while you're gone.
Wait.
Have you mowed your lawn in the past week?
I did. Did you
take a post?
Do you want to get into their follow-up homework? I did. So yeah, you gave me the homework of
top five beers,
and I was only able to get 2 of them.
That's okay.
And instead of beer, I did Smirnoff Ice.
Of course you did.
So I did the barbecue beer and the lawn cutting beer.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one did you enjoy more, just out of curiosity?
I was conflicted. I think in principle, I liked the lawn cutting beer better.
Wow. Okay.
Because I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Work is done, and I can now sit back and see what I did. The problem is I'm allergic to grass and trees.
Of course.
And so every time I cut my grass, I get hives for 2 days. So that takes it down a notch.
Your wife doesn't cut the grass for you?
No. I mean, she has offered, but here's the thing.
Hey, hon, I don't want you to get hives for 2 days. Could you cut the grass for me? I'll cut the grass for you.
She has offered, but I like. Do you have the thing? Corbin?
Yeah.
Corbin, do you have a thing?
Okay.
Where you really enjoy the thing from just a thinking about it aspect.
Okay.
But then when you actually do it, it's shit. I'll give you an example. I really like the idea of a houseboat.
Okay.
Okay, I like that. You're docked.
Yeah.
You get to go live in the boat. You have the natural rocking. You're on the wall.
Stuff everywhere. It's awesome.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
But actually doing it would be fucking god awful because you're on a goddamn crickety boat that's going to break after 5 years. You're dealing with nonstop leaking of water and finding a place to park and pay. The life of it would be shit.
Yeah, I agree.
But the idea of it
is really nice.
I have that problem with lawn care.
I love how you're equating lawn care to houseboating.
Yeah.
Mine would be working out.
Okay.
Like, man, I could work out.
Yeah.
And I could get, some more musculature. I could, lose a little bit of the gut. I could feel a lot better myself. My heart would be more healthy.
Yeah.
And then I just nah.
The actual act of it.
I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do it.
Yeah. Cruise ships, same thing. I know.
Cruise ships are not that bad. Cruise ships are actually pretty fun.
Have I told my cruise ship story here?
No, please. If you have, I'll stop you.
Okay. Stop me if I have. It's a true story.
Okay.
It's been confirmed. I told my wife this. She didn't believe me the story. It was confirmed by both my parents. So I would have been... This was, I think, after the first divorce, before the second divorce of my parents, because childhood is awesome. We all went to Disney World in Florida.
Okay.
Dad, mother, myself, sister. I would have been maybe 13.
Okay.
12, 13.
Okay.
My sister probably would have been 16-ish, and away we go. So we go to Florida, do some Disney World stuff, and then we're going to take a week-long Caribbean cruise from Fort Lauderdale, and then hitting the Caribbean Islands, la, 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 la. Now, of course, back then, the cruise ships weren't the massive hotels they are today, but it was a big one. I mean, I assumed it was a big one. So we go there, we get on the gangplank, and as soon as you kind of walk into the first open area of the ship, right across the outside is a large arcade. And so we walked on the boat. First thing, I didn't go in there. I was like, I'm going to check out the arcade. And they're like, yeah, fine, whatever. Don't talk to us. So they went away, my family, and I went to the arcade. It was, all of them were free and unlocked. You didn't have to pay a quarter for any of them. You can just fucking hit start again and just crush the games.
Yep.
I'm going to imagine I was in there for 4 hours.
Okay.
I just didn't move. Just arcaded the shit out of that.
Yeah.
And at one point, there's a small little portcullis window in between the machines, and I look out and I can see water going by. And I was like, I didn't even realize we were moving. Didn't hear anything. I was so locked into the zone of just crushing arcades. So I leave. I go out onto the deck and can't see land anywhere. We were just out in the water.
Okay.
So we're from a landlocked prairie area, you and I.
Yeah.
I've never experienced ocean water living. Never been a thing for me. I've never been a big fan of swimming, let alone it. So it was pretty cool. So I'm walking around like, oh man, like just ocean, taking it in, enjoying the sights. And I don't know how long it would have been, but after a while I realized I'm not seeing anyone. There's no other people I haven't run across anyone else.
Oh my God. Okay.
So I start walking. I go to the back. I go to where the buffet would be. Mm-hmm. The doors are closed. Lights are off.
Okay.
I go to they have the dance studio and the showroom part shops area of the boat.
Nobody.
How
long are you on the boat at this point?
5-6 hours.
Wow. Okay. Go ahead.
And nobody on boat. I walk around the entire outside walking deck of the ship.
Yeah.
Nobody. 0 people. No staff. No people walking around. Nothing. And I don't remember ever being frightened by it. I just remember being like, oh, I guess I should go find somebody. The idea that I may be the only person on the boat never really came to me at the time. But now I'm like, I could have fucking been the only person on the boat. So however long I walked around, couldn't find anybody. I went into the elevator and I knew my parents had a room booked on this boat, and they must have told me the floor because I knew the floor was or where to go to this room. So I get in the elevator, the small little tiny elevator, and I hit the button. Elevator starts going down, and almost as soon as it starts moving, this what can only be described as a wall of smell hits me as this elevator goes down. A smell at the time I didn't know what it was. Now I would equate it to the smell of a dead body. And the elevator goes down, it is rife and thick, and just all consuming.
Okay.
So elevator comes down, doors open up, and it's a small lobby, on the inside the ship for where people can walk to their rooms. When the elevator opens up at a hotel.
Yeah.
Little, I think there's a couple little bathrooms right there, but then hallways on either side. Doors open up, and there is bodies as far as the eye can see, littering the floor. As far as the eye can see. No one moving, bodies. So
But they smell as if they were dead.
Oh, incredibly.
So they have to be there for a while.
Yeah. Incredible, terrible smelling.
Oh, I'm excited to see where this goes. Okay, go.
So and I remember at that point.
Did you walk through the bodies?
I did walk through the bodies because I had to get to our room.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
I don't know what it was. You just kind of stepped over people. No one moved.
Yeah.
No one talked to me. No one grabbed me. But again, I didn't watch horror movies a lot as a kid, so I didn't have the equation, right? I think if I watched a lot of zombie movies, I would have been more scared.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch any scary movies. It didn't.
Come on, you walked out there and you're like, oh, this is a lot of dead bodies. This is weird.
Yeah. Well,
I better keep going.
I assume I didn't think they were dead people at the time. I was a stupid kid, right? So I find our room, and my mother's parents were with us as well, my grandparents, and my sister is laying in the hallway in front of the door, on the ground. In the open hallway. The door's locked, and I try to wake my sister up, and she just kind of groans and pushes me away. And that's all I can get out of her. Door's locked. I bang on the door. No one answers. They won't let me in. So I say, okay. So I go back up to the top of the ship, and I say, well, I'll go to the very tippity top, the top deck.
You just left her.
Yeah. Well, what am I going to do?
Yeah. Okay.
So I go to the tippity top. I find my mother on the top of the ship on a lounger chair, and she is fully wrapped up in the arms, cradling some dude whom I've never met before, and neither one of them are moving or talking. So long story short, what happens is the not turbulence, the wave water turbulence.
Okay.
The waves. I don't
Okay.
know. It was so bad that everyone on the boat, including the staff, became violently ill. And everyone ran to the bathrooms, the one at the bottom of that elevator, and started vomiting and whatever else everywhere. So there was vomit on all the carpets, on all the floors, on all the decks. People lost their goddamn minds. It was that bad. Now, I don't have a lot of motion sickness as it is, and I don't know if it was because I was just playing vids the whole time when it started that I just didn't notice. But it was literally the entire boat.
So you didn't smell dead people. You smelled vomit.
Yeah, vomit and excrement.
Vomit and shit.
Yeah.
And your sister vomited and passed out.
Yes.
So what was the result of this?
So it was basically that until they got to their first port, which was I think it was a 8-hour float to the first port that they went to, and then when they stopped, they got everyone out. But they had emptied the pools, like they just had a skeleton crew running the ship to go where it needed to go, but like everyone else was fucked. They discounted a bunch of things that my parents told me after. But everyone was fucked. Like ghost death ship for the first 6 hours.
That's insane.
So that's my only cruise story.
Okay, but so nobody died though.
I mean, if they did, I didn't know about it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's a crazy story.
yeah. That's my only cruise ship story.
That's a good story. My cruise ship story is that I went on a cruise at Christmas time to New Year's, or just after New Year's, and we celebrated New Year's Eve or New Year's New Year's Eve.
Yeah, one of the New Year's.
We celebrated New Year's.
Yeah,
and it was like woo, and then we crossed over a time zone, and then celebrated it all again at 1 a.m.
You did the double?
We did double. Like,
I don't know if that's allowed.
And the entire boat did it, and the crew had planned for it.
Yeah,
like we just did it. Here's it again. Happy New Year.
I don't know if that's allowed.
Yeah, it's super fun. 2 New Years. I celebrated 2 New Years in the same night.
Were you old enough to partake in the New Year's?
Yeah, no, I was like 30.
Okay, it's only like 20 or 30 years ago.
Yeah. I'm not that old, my listeners.
You're not
that old.
So that's kind of that's what I look at for ships. Go back to your original point. So I did a barbecue beer,
yeah,
and a lawn care beer,
yeah,
and the barbecue beer was better,
yeah,
but the idea of the lawn care beer is more in my mind.
Okay, but then just didn't get the reach around the payoff that was in there.
Correct.
That's not good.
Yeah.
I'm still excited to do. I had Friday beer last week. It was fantastic.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I did. I loved it. I did airport beer before my Vegas trips a couple months ago. So I did those. That was great. And I haven't done an NFL tailgating beer in a while. So, or a sports beer, if you will. But I did sports beer, like a sports getting. Well, actually, that's not true. I went out the other night to watch a game, and me and my buddy, we had beers there before the game started, and we watched the game.
Oh, there you go. That counts.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.
Well, I'll be at the airport in less than a week.
So let's just recap things we've learned today.
Okay.
That bodies on a cruise ship should be taken seriously.
Yeah, you should. I should have more worry.
Yeah, should have more worry. 1, 2, Oldsmobile 88s could possibly be the slowest car of all time.
Yeah, and driven by the slowest people of all time.
3, the idea of the mowing beer is very, very high on our list.
Yeah.
And 4, Keanu Reeves killed 439 people in 4 movies.
To be determined.
We'll see.
We're an asterisk.
We'll see.
Your whole story rests upon an asterisk, my friend.
But technically, your information is as good as my information.
No, mine's better.
But
we talked about this.
I don't understand why. Here, put it this way.
Yeah.
I think I care more about small scale events in my life than I care about big scale events in my life.
Okay.
Is that fair? My apathy is more with big scale events.
Sure. Things that are much harder to change.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Is that a scale of apathy that I'm still allowed to have on this show?
I don't know if it's radical.
It's not. Well,
it's pushing apathy.
Would radical be?
You don't care about anything.
Would care about anything.
Nothing.
Okay.
That's the goal we strive to be.
I'm going to live my life like that.
We have to get there. Us and our listeners, we're going to get to the point where nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Fine. You know what?
Yeah.
But then again, at the same time, I'm like, here's my apathy. I'm like, I guess where the apathy comes in is like, fuck it, I'm going to use someone else's garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. So you found an apathetic way to deal with your anger.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I do. Here's the radical part of my apathy.
Okay.
I find ways to use apathy to solve my problems.
Oh, that's okay. I see what you're saying.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. There's some shows. Well, it's June.
It is June, yeah.
It's June. 4 major shows are coming out in June. Let's talk about them.
I'm aware. I can think of 2 off the top of my head.
So, House of the Dragon.
Okay, that's not one of the ones I thought.
The Boys.
Yes.
Season 4.
Season 4.
The Bear.
Didn't think of that one.
And The Acolytes.
The Acolyte.
Those are the big 4 that are coming out in June. So June is like TV month.
Kicks off.
It kicks off. And so this is all HBO and Disney Plus, mostly Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I guess Amazon Prime. Which of the... First off, have you seen The Bear? Have you watched The Bear?
You have told me to watch The Bear. I still have not yet watched The Bear.
I'm going to say it's...
But I'm aware it's a kitchen man who runs a kitchen.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably the best show on TV right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What are your thoughts on the upcoming Star Wars television show, The Acolyte?
Listen, I have limited myself to trailers and stuff because I don't like spoilers.
Correct.
I don't like to know stuff. But I'll watch it and we'll see. It's gonna suck. I'm gonna watch it. It's gonna suck.
It's gonna suck. Here's my problem is with a lot of these Star Wars TV shows. And sometimes with other Hollywood shows, what they do is when the show sucks, because it is just a crappy show, they will come out and say, oh, well, everyone just hates it because we have a black protagonist or because it's a woman lead. And
is that all accurate?
No.
I don't hate
if the show does, the show has a black person or an Asian person.
I don't hate the show for those reasons at all.
Right. But they say that because then they get to villainize proper people with bringing up proper problems with their show. They say, oh no, you're just being racist, regardless of what the complaint is, because they can hide behind it. And they've done that for a few of their shows when their shows bombed because they're shit shows. And what they started doing with The Acolyte now is Kathleen Kennedy, who runs Disney.
Oh, I saw this.
She's already come out.
Said females don't succeed or something.
Yeah, so she came out before the show. It's not even out yet. She came out and said, you know what? Yeah, it's tough for any woman in this industry, and she named the director or the showrunner of the show, and I apologize for the name off the top of my head. And they said it's been especially tough for her because the most of our audience is male, and they just can't handle a female direction. So they're already, because they know the show sucks. They know it does, just from a television development standpoint. So they're already preemptively making the point that says if you talk shit about the show, it's because you're sexist.
I saw that post on X, on Twitter, and I replied to it, and I'm like, I only know these facts now because you told me.
Because you just said them,
Yeah, like it wasn't even considered.
Yeah.
Like I don't know I have no idea who made Andor. I have no idea who made Ahsoka. I don't have any idea.
Because it doesn't matter.
Because I don't care.
Who gives a shit? Who gives a truly? If the show's who runners are, or who the lighting boomstick guy, who cares? Is the show good?
Yeah. Is it good or is it not good?
Is it not good?
Well, maybe it'll be good.
I mean, it won't be, and I would love to be wrong. Like, yeah. I'm a Star Wars fan. I would love nothing more than to have a good fucking Star Wars show, but it's not going to be good.
I watched the recap, season 1 recap, because there's a lot of moving parts to House of the Dragon. Because that story, did you watch the first season?
I know that it has different time periods.
Oh, you didn't watch the first season?
No, oh. I'm still, as our last talk, I'm still coming off the problems of my hatred.
Yeah.
I haven't recovered yet.
House of the Dragon's really good.
I heard it's good.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to watch it. I had to watch a recap, though, on YouTube just to say, okay, remind me all the moving parts.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of characters.
And it's been time since the first, it's been over a year since the last season, right?
Yeah, it's been a year. It's been a normal amount. One season a year. And
does it all come out at once, or is it episodic?
Episodic.
Weekly episodic?
Yeah, HBO releases once a week.
Okay. Now that we've had time with it, I think it's better. Honestly, I think an episode a week is better because if you do it all at once, like with Fallout 4, you lose the media push behind it because it just says boom and everyone says, oh wow, fucking Fallout's a great TV show, which by the way directed by women and stars woman, great show. People loved it, but it was just that 1 week, 2 weeks that it was out. And then you just stop talking about it, and it loses that momentum, loses that money. But if that was a weekly show, and for 8 weeks an episode of Fallout came out, you would have had 2 months of people losing their shit over Fallout.
Yeah, I think a part of the fun of a TV show is to watch it and have the Monday morning. Not trying to.
Yeah, the water cooler.
Yeah, the water cooler, the Fallout, if you will. And have that talk about it, like holy shit, oh my god, and then you talk about it. Then you get theories, and then you get rewarded with the next show the next week.
Yeah.
So I believe The Bear is coming out episodically. I know House of the Dragon is. The Boys does as well.
Yeah.
And The Acolyte will as well. So that's going to be 4 weeks of 4 shows.
Jeez, yeah.
Starting in June, which will last through October.
And I'm going to be gone the
August.
entire month.
And you're going to be gone. Well, that's okay. You can binge some of it.
Yeah.
But you're right. You want that pop after
Yeah.
you do one.
I like the talking. I mean, obviously, I like talking because we do a podcast, but I like that conversational theory, like that engagement around the show or game or whatever it is. It's nicer when it's longer. But if you just get that one sit down, and I'm going to fucking watch all of them if it all comes out at once.
Yeah. Should we commit to one of these shows and do like mini recaps?
We probably should.
Yeah.
Right? From where we're at. I mean, we do, this is a fortnightly podcast, so we would go every 2 episodes.
Yeah,
we'd
2
come back and
episodes.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Do we want it to be The Acolyte, or do you want it to be?
Well,
what are you thinking? Fresh show or old show?
It can't be House of the Dragon because you're not going to catch up on a season in time.
Right.
It can't be The Bear because you're not going to catch up on 2 seasons.
And I'm
in
2
time.
seasons behind the boys.
And you're 2 seasons behind the boy, so it has to be The Acolyte. Just by
I really don't want to watch it, but for this, I will.
process of elimination.
Okay.
All I saw was that there was a lightsaber whip in the trailer.
Yeah. I don't know. Some people are whining about it, but I mean, there's been lightsaber whips in the extended universe for 20 years, so it's not that big of a deal.
And I don't care.
Yeah, it does. I know. That's who gives a fuck about what
Yeah,
it is.
I'm not going to pick it apart like meh. Like the other Star Wars shows. Here, let's just do a quick rundown.
Let's do
it. I am not a fan of almost all of the Star Wars shows that have come out on Disney Plus.
Nor am I.
I hated The Mandalorian. Except for like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I thought it was just boring. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
I thought the Boba Fett was the worst one they've done.
It is absolutely the worst one they've done.
I thought Ahsoka was not bad, and then it sucked at the end.
Yeah, did not stick the landing.
No, did not stick the landing. I thought Obi-Wan was actually pretty darn good.
Huge disagreement.
Okay.
But carry
I
on.
thought it was pretty good. I thought they did a fight at the end of that kind of redeemed the Revenge of the Sith fight.
You wanted it all fight.
No, but the fight at the end of Revenge of the Sith was just awful to me.
Okay.
That I thought this one redeemed that.
Right.
So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, even though the show itself was very slow.
Yeah.
But it finished on a good high note, which I liked.
Okay.
And then what was the other ones?
Andor.
And Andor is the slowest show in the history of shows.
Yeah.
There's no reason why I needed 13 episodes of this thing or 12 episodes of this show. It was so long and nothing happened, and it was yeah, it was. They just spent. It was like a Stephen King book. They just spent more time in spots that.
So would it be fair to say that you are more looking for spectacle over nuance?
Put it this way. This show was dealing with Rogue One characters, and they did Rogue One character arcs in the movie so well that all those characters were pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Even though right now I can look you in the eye and you could probably only name 3 of those characters.
From Rogue One?
Maybe 3. I'm going to say 4 tops.
Okay.
And I'm going to challenge you after. Think of 4 characters. If you can get more, I'll congratulate you. But they had the job of pumping up one character arc, and they did it so slowly and so boringly. Is that a word? Boringly?
Boring.
They did it so
boringly.
boring.
Yeah, boringly. Yeah,
so much boring.
So much boring.
The longer the show went on, the less I cared about where it was going. And then there's this big reveal at the end of the show about what they were working on.
Spoilers.
And you're like, okay, I get it. Great. Like, the payoff wasn't there.
If you knew anything about Star Wars, you knew exactly what they were working on.
And you know what?
You saw that one coming.
You know what? And I didn't see that coming.
Oh, okay.
I was completely stupefied by that. But and not knowing, it still didn't pay off for me.
Right.
Okay, go ahead. Can you name, how many characters can you name from Rogue One?
Rogue One.
Go.
Andor Cassian.
No.
What do you mean no?
His name is Cassian Andor.
Well, no, I was saying Andor, Cassian.
That's what you were saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mothma, Common Mon.
Okay.
Organa, Common Bail.
Okay. You're taking some low hanging fruit here, but go ahead.
Ahead. Ursio, Common Jin.
Okay.
Ursio, Common Galen.
Oh, you're doing well. Okay.
Thank you. Krennic, Director.
Director Krennic.
Yeah. I'm not going to say the actual low-hanging fruit to the person in the black cloak.
Yeah.
Tarkin is in it, although a CGI Tarkin. Leia's in it.
Maybe I
although
missed
CGI Leia.
I guess what I'm trying to say is how many of the actual Rogue One can you name? Because I was like, I don't think you can name more than 2. Maybe 3. Tops 3. But I don't think you can name the Rogue One's the actual squadron.
Let me think here.
Man, my question was ill-framed.
Yes. It'll come to me. Our 2 Asian friends. Brody was the pilot.
What was his last name?
Ooh, I don't know the last name.
I believe it was Rook.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just on Brody. Brody was a pilot. Jin, Cassian.
Yeah.
What was her what's name?
I can tell you.
But
it's K2SO.
Oh, it is K2SO.
And
I understand what you're saying.
And what I'm saying is this is a movie that is a lot of super Star Wars fans consider to be one of the best Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
but they don't know the fucking characters' names. Like it hasn't hit home like the other. Like you think of the new trilogy, we know all the characters' names.
Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah.
We don't know them from Rogue One yet. Everyone's like Rogue One's the best. Oh well, is it?
Because
it's not the one that sticks with you the most.
But it is the better movie. Like start, middle, and end.
It has the dumbest ending in the world. But go ahead.
Oh, it's because it's a beautiful ending. Chef's kiss.
I think we've argued about this on the show, and I've already proven why you're wrong.
Okay. Anyway, that is the reasons why Corbyn is dumb.
Wow.
Let's move on to
Acolyte. We're going to watch that one.
We are going to watch Acolyte. So Acolyte, going forward, Acolyte, every fortnight we come back, we're going to have our 2-episode discussion on the Acolyte.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get too hung up on which force fucking weapon color is what. But
I don't care.
Story itself. So get into that. I like it.
Let's go.
I have a top 5.
We do top 5 still?
We still do top 5s. Let's do a top 5. And we're back with the top 5.
All right, I'm excited about this one. I don't know why. Can you beat? First off, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Did I subvert your expectations when I said top 5 beers last week, and then I went bam, and I hit you the other way?
You did.
You thought I was going to start naming brands of beers?
You absolutely did.
Yes.
Now I took that.
That's what I was trying to do.
I took that idea.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring that into my own top 5.
Okay.
So I'm going to subvert your expectations.
Okay.
I do have a top 5.
Yeah.
It is not necessarily a ranked thing, but I have.
Well, it's kind of the definition of top 5.
The top 5 reasons on how to look for secret cameras in rental units while traveling.
You're so much more inventive than me.
Well, I found most of this from a Washington Post article by Andrea Sachs.
Okay, so just really quickly.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is you went on the internet.
Yeah.
And you searched something.
Yeah.
And you are now using it as your evidence for this top 5. Is that correct?
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Just checking. Go ahead.
I'm doing it.
Oh, but you're doing it.
So it's correct.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
So what basically the point of this article is what they did is they brought in a cyber expert man, ex-army person, I guess, who does a company in the States. But they went in, the Washington Post, they hid a bunch of cameras in a unit and then sent this person in to go find them. And the point of this was a lot of people in Airbnbs and HBROs and all these rental places are finding cameras inside the units.
People are fucked. Okay.
So, well, I mean, I get it to a point, right? Because if you're renting out your house and your rules are, hey, no parties, none of this, none of that.
Yeah.
If something goes sideways, you want to be able to prove that happened. So people are like putting a camera in the kitchen or a camera in the living room to show if there was a party problem. They can say, hey, look, that happened.
Yeah.
A lot of them have like policy rules against that, which Airbnb just brought in like a couple months ago. Finally, it was like one of the last big ones to bring that rule in, saying you can have cameras on the outside of the property, but not on the inside. Because some people would also have them in the bathrooms.
Yeah, exactly.
And under the blankets and inside the toilet looking up.
Why would you want that view?
And you sell it on the lines for gross people.
I just don't understand why you'd want to see that.
I don't know either. What's the time and effort? Like, I don't understand the effort of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. So they bring in some just quick options that anyone can do. You don't need to be experts or anything about that. But when you do go to these places, and this works for hotel rooms or anything like that, not just the short-term rental places, that you can basically find 99% of all of these devices or cameras with just being aware and like having a cell phone. That's really all you need. So, number 5.
Number 5.
Look for plugged-in household items.
Plugged-in household items.
So furniture and decorative items are much less of a concern because they would have to be all battery operated, and most battery operated devices only last a matter of hours. So looking for things that are plugged in for direct power. So in this example, on the kitchen table, they had something based on the lines of USB chargers, smoke detectors, power strips, like power bars.
Yeah.
All of these would be laid out. So what this gentleman did is he activated his Wi-Fi, and he went and listened to turned on his Wi-Fi. You scan for your Wi-Fi system like you would to connect to a house. And he would stand beside a smoke detector, and all of a sudden he would see a Wi-Fi pop up with a Wi-Fi number of 525.643.WHYZ. Mm-hmm. And they say, why does a smoke detector have a Wi-Fi? But it's because it's a camera putting out a Wi-Fi signal.
Interesting.
So one quick and easy way to do it. Number 4.
Okay.
Other potentially powered things like your Bluetooth speaker on the kitchen counter or the alarm clock in the family room, air fresheners on the foyer table, things that are going to be plugged in directly that have a central view of an open room are also where you want to have a quick look, because you'll obviously see if you actually pick it up and look, there's a little camera in there.
Yeah.
But anything that has like direct power plug-in, that's pulling that power out, whether or not it's putting on a Wi-Fi signal. Easy to look for.
Yeah.
You don't need to spend a lot of time. Quick and easy. You don't need to be pulling apart fucking beds and furnitures and appliances and that kind of thing. You don't need to do that.
No.
Number 3 is any mysterious QR codes and what's called the flashlight test. So you unplug the items, you can turn them over, and you can look for a mysterious QR code.
Yeah.
And what they say, it's not a manufacturer sticker with a serial number that's going to register with a warranty or anything. So what is the purpose? That QR code is basically to connect to the Wi-Fi of the apps of the camera. So you pull it out, you check the QR code, it'll connect you to Wi-Fi. Boom. That means it's sending a signal, which means it's a camera. For the flashlight test, so you wave a light over the face of, let's say, an alarm clock, and you'll notice a glimmer inside like a tiny hole or something. And as you move the light around, you'll see this glistening kind of following your light as you move it. And you can see that reflecting off the lens of a camera. Yeah. Also very easy to do. You can do it with the phone and your light phone on your phone.
Yeah, okay.
Also, one thing is you can also pull out on your phone, there's apps for radio frequency finders.
Yes.
And lens detectors. So you can just turn that on and aim it at the clock. You see that little lens flare with the flashlight? And it's going to basically alert you that the lens is in there and say, yeah, that's there.
Okay.
Easy to do with an app. And most of them are all free. Nextly, we have radio frequency or thermal heat for number 2. Number 2.
I don't remember what number it was.
You could use basically any type of palm-sized RF detector, which you can get for $20 anywhere, or some even apps on your phone can do it. It determines an object's radio frequency output, and it recognizes this RF energy in kind of the 20 megahertz to 6 gigahertz, which is pretty open, so you can find mostly everything, but it also might find you some like walkie-talkies if people are baby monitors, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But that's all you need. It'll literally like turn it on, and like the motion sensor from Alien, it'll basically just walk around and point as you go. It'll do the
The extended cut.
That's right. It's not in the original theatrical version?
No.
Really?
No. It was on the TV version, though. And then it's in the director's cut.
The director's cut.
Yeah.
Interesting. Number 1, you find the cameras. So what do you do after that?
That's what I was going to say. Well, okay, I found them. Now what?
Yeah. So most security experts suggest unplugging the device or covering the lens with a towel. Don't remove the offending object because the host could then accuse you of damaging their personal property. If it's a minor transgression, like you find a camera in the kitchen, they say report it to the rental platform because now all of them have policies against that. If you discover a camera in a sensitive area, like inside the toilet, then they would suggest you call the cops.
Let's talk about apathy for a second. You're in this Airbnb.
Yeah.
And there's some cameras in there. Do you care? Are you doing anything you care about that's in this place? What are they going to do? Watch me what?
Here's how I look at it. I know a lot of people would be upset.
Yeah.
And because I'm traveling, I want to bring in this travel one. But maybe it's the entertainer in me. But it's a gift if you look at it properly. just like when people call you randomly to sell you whatever extended warranty bullshit.
Sure,
that's a gift when that happens. Everyone gets upset. Everyone's like, "Oh, fucking don't call me over at supper time," and they hang up the phone. But these people call you, and they're doing their job, which means they can hang up on you. So as long as you don't threaten their lives or get too outrageous with swears, they cannot hang up. And think about that.
Yeah.
That is a gift.
Yeah.
Right? So whenever I get them, my wife just walks out of the room because I will stay on that phone for an hour and a half just having the time of my life with these people because they have to sit there and listen to me now. And just like if this person put a camera there, they have to sit there and watch me.
Yeah.
I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any phone calls from India lately?
I get one at least a day.
I haven't gotten any.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't gotten any in months. I don't know what's going on. They've lost my number or something. Or else they've hacked me and I don't know.
Yeah, or they got everything they need.
Yeah, or else they got everything.
They're done. There's a check mark beside your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need him anymore.
My picture's like, hey.
Yeah. So if you're traveling, you're doing it, that's my top 5.
That's a good one, man. That's a good one.
Yeah, top 5.
I like it.
Yeah.
You're wearing a sports jersey today.
Oh, you noticed, did you?
I noticed you're wearing a Seattle Seahawks football jersey.
It's, I thought you might enjoy that. Well, I wore it for a reason because how excited are you that Edmonton is in the World Series of Hockey sports?
Fun fact.
Yeah.
In the hierarchy of sports that I like to watch, the NHL is like the lowest rung.
Yes, you've said that.
Yeah, there's football, baseball, basketball, everything else that's a sport, and then the NHL.
Right.
So, being close to home is, I guess, it's kind of cool, and I've been watching some of the games, but I'm not super overly excited. I don't think.
Okay, which is not your drive.
Well, yeah, like I'm not going to be like, "Wow, we did it," or whatever. I have a sports thing for you too. After you're done, it looks like you got a sports thing for me.
No,
what do you
please,
got?
go.
Please. Mine's going to take away.
I found something today that I thought was interesting.
Yeah,
because everyone talks about football sports.
Yeah,
like it's the NFL, like it's crazy. So. I pulled up this graph of stats. So the NFL Super Bowl 2024 had just shy of 200 million people watching it.
Okay.
The most watched NFL Super Bowl
of all time
ever.
Yeah.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup had a little over 1.4 billion.
Wow, that's awesome.
In size difference. So when it comes to the world difference, like American football doesn't even touch.
No, American football
compared to European sports.
is pretty much a North American market.
Yeah,
which is cool. And like I said, the top 4 major sports in North America: football, basketball, hockey, and baseball.
Yeah.
But soccer right now, the Cricket World Cup is on right now.
Yeah,
the T20, and people are like, "Man, Corbyn, you know T20 cricket?" Fucking rights, I do.
It's the quick one, right?
It's the quick one. Yeah, it's got 20 overs, not overs, 20. The equivalent of innings. Okay, and so it's baseball, but it's basically, and I'm going to credit a guy on the internet who introduced me to cricket last year, 2 years ago, and YouTuber named Jomboy, Jomboy.
Yeah,
great sports YouTuber guy.
You talked about him last time with Alistair.
Yeah, and he introduced me to the cricket.
Yeah.
And so to put it into baseball terms, cricket is one long baseball game, except there's 2 innings. There's one long inning for one team, and they try to hit as many scores as they can or get as many runs as they can.
Yeah.
And then the other team goes, and they try to get as many runs as they can in the amount of pitches they're allowed. So, which is, I believe, 120 pitches.
Yeah, because it's not outs. They just get to throw the ball 120 times.
They're called overs, I think. Yeah. So 20 overs. 20 overs or 20 rounds of batters.
And whom do you want to win the T20?
Well, the other night it was Canada versus the USA, and so I wanted to watch that night, but there was another sports thing that had a priority of it, so I couldn't watch it. So, and I have to in North America, I have to get a certain app subscription to watch the T20 Cricket World Cup because it's just not on TV.
Yeah,
it's just not popular in North America.
Yeah,
but it's super fun to watch. I love watching cricket.
Really?
Yeah. Only the T20. I don't like that 3-day stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to, because I know you're not a sports guy.
No, I wore this jersey just to bother you.
No, you're not bothering me. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I did it to bother you.
No, it's not going to bother me at all. Apathy, my man. Apathy. Okay. I'm going to go over the 4 major sports.
All right.
In North America and their overtime rules.
Oh.
And I want you, as a fresh pair of ears and eyes, to tell me what you think is the dumbest one to the best one, or else just pick apart everything I'm telling you.
Sure, super easy.
Yeah. Okay. Because I've got issues with some of these things. Okay. The NBA. Okay.
Is
basketball.
Yes, I knew that.
National Basketball Association.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe just for the audience, we don't use acronyms because I'm sure most of them aren't going to know.
I'm pretty sure everyone except for you.
I mean, just to
know.
be fair.
Okay. Yeah, maybe all of them will know.
Okay.
But so the National Basketball Association. There's 4 quarters. They're 12 minutes apiece.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if it's tied at the end, it goes into overtime.
Okay.
And what happens is they put 5 minutes on the clock and they let you play. And if there's someone ahead at the end of that 5 minutes, they win.
So if they get a goal, it doesn't stop.
Nope, it doesn't stop.
They just keep going for 5 minutes.
How many more points can you score in that extra 5 minutes?
So just more time.
More time.
Okay.
And if it's tied again, it goes to another overtime. And if it's tied again, it goes to another overtime.
I already don't like this.
Okay. Yeah. So, so tell me why you don't like that.
It's a bit boring.
Why is that boring?
Because it's just more basketball.
Doesn't it get more exciting with the longer it goes? Doesn't it get more exciting with the idea?
I think because like with other sports and other television shows learned, it's exciting at the end by you're throwing in a wrench. You throw in the monkey to mix things up, to make them say, oh, well, now this is a fucking issue we got to deal with. Like that.
Here's why it's cool for me.
Okay.
For me, it's cool because you get 6 fouls as a player. Okay?
Sure.
You foul 6 times, you get kicked out of the game. Okay?
Used to be 7 back in my day.
So fatigue and fouls is why basketball overtime is cool to me. Basketball players are running constantly in the sport, and so fatigue plays a factor. And the longer you play, minutes-wise, during the regular part of the game, regulation time, the more likely you are to get more fouls. So if you are playing an overtime game and players are fouling out, now you've got just all these variables moving forward. Okay, fatigue fouls.
Yeah.
How is that going to play out the longer an overtime game goes, which I think is more exciting.
So your excitement with the game is just that now the players are as bored with this game as I am.
Oh, they're not. They're not.
Because they're exhausted. Like, okay,
no, the longer you play, the more you want to win. I think that's a sports thing.
Okay, give me the next one. No, it's not how much, but give me the other ones are worse. I don't know.
National Football League, the NFL, if you will.
Hey, so there you go, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, Corbyn, for helping the audience.
How it goes is this, okay? And they just changed it recently because of this other game between the Chiefs and Bills a couple of years ago, which ended on a shitty note, okay? So what happens is they flip a coin, and whoever wins the coin toss gets to determine if they want to receive or kick off, okay, for the overtime session. I believe it's a 15-minute or a 10-minute. No, I believe it's 10 minutes that they put on the clock. If one team scores a touchdown immediately on the first drive, the other team gets an opportunity to also score a touchdown. Okay. If the first team does not, and then it keeps going. And if the first team does not score a touchdown on the first one and the other returning team does, that returning team wins. If both teams fail to score a touchdown on their first possession, then next points win, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown at that point.
Regardless of the time on the clock.
Yeah, and if it'll keep going in overtime.
It feels unnecessarily convoluted.
The NFL has convoluted overtime rules, yes.
Yeah, like why can't it just be the next guy wins who scores?
Because they did that once, and they used to do that.
Yeah.
But it's based on a coin flip and not by skill. Right? Oh, you won the coin flip. You score.
But if it was based on skill, someone should have won.
I know, but we didn't even get an opportunity to try to score. And that's what happened. We had this epic game that went down to, it was a couple of years ago, 2021, I think. Epic game that went down to the final play, and they tied it to go into overtime. And then someone won a coin toss, and then they immediately won. And you're like, man, that would have been better if, I would prefer an NFL to be like basketball, where they just played a full extra quarter and see who's winning at the end of that, instead of having a sudden death part of football.
Okay.
But what do you think?
I don't know enough about the rules of football to really understand why everyone needs to get a turn then, because it feels convoluted. Because then if your guy gets the touchdown, and you're like, yeah, touchdown, we did so good, and then the other team's like, oh, we're gonna do it, and then they get a touchdown. Okay, well,
and it continues.
What are we doing here, guys?
I'm actually ordering these the sports from most reasonable overtime to the most stupid overtime, by the way.
Oh, so
this is my
basketball's your number one.
This is my right. Basketball is my best overtime.
I'm going to say football is above this one because although it's convoluted, at least there are changing rules. Where basketball, they just keep playing the game.
Which I like.
Sure.
I like.
To me, there needs to be more showmanship because it's professional sports. I want to see something.
Okay, and my argument is this, and I'll bring up my argument when I bring up hockey, because hockey is the stupidest overtime rules. Okay. So overtime rules for or extra innings is what they would call it in baseball. The MLB,
and this is the
Major League Baseball.
My most known sport.
Oh, good. Okay,
baseball.
Good.
Yeah.
So up until 2020, long-standing tradition of just playing more games. Okay, more innings. Sorry, and if the home team scores in the bottom of the inning, then they walk it off and they win it. Right.
Yeah.
If the away team scores at the top of the inning, the bottom of the inning has a chance to tie it.
Yeah.
Which I liked. In 2020 or 2021, they instilled the new rule. And this was, I don't mind the reasoning behind it. It was not to speed up the game. It was to prevent injuries to players.
Okay.
And
they had a lot of rules to speed up the game, though, recently.
Recently, yes. Yeah. It was to prevent the injuries to players, and so specifically pitchers. Because if you get a really long game and pitchers, you're using all your pitchers, and then now you're using your position players for pitchers. That's just no good for anybody. Okay, and so now what they did is, starting in the 10th inning, to begin the inning, the person who was last out on your team in the prior inning starts. So if, let's say you're the number one batter, the leadoff batter, is the last out in the 9th inning, he will start on second base.
Right.
In the 10th inning.
Yes.
And then they play they play the inning. Okay. But then the same rules apply. If they score, you got the chance to come back, and
But they're just making a play happen.
They're making you start your runner on second. And so it speeds up.
One base hit gets your run.
So now a game going 14 innings is very unlikely. Because it just happens. It's just easier to bunt a guy over and hit him in. Okay. So, but ridiculous in terms. Maybe I like this one better than football. I like this one better than football. Okay. So let's reorder those. So I think pretty reasonable. What do you think?
Yeah, I understand the reason behind this one because I understand more baseball. So this one I'm okay with. Because the fucking 14, 16 inning games. You're no one's surviving it. So, this one I wasn't super upset by.
I have a problem with this one for the same reason I have a problem with the last one I'll mention, which is hockey, and which is the dumbest overtime in sports. Okay, there's a difference between regular season overtime and playoff
Did not
overtime.
Know
that. Okay. So in the regular season, and I get why they're doing this. They're doing it for speed of game, and they're doing it probably for injuries. I get it. For fatigue. I don't care about those things.
Is it the shootouts?
Hear me out.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So it goes into overtime. Instead of playing 5-on-5, they reduce the game to 3-on-3.
Like a Timbits game?
Like a Timbits game.
Okay.
To 3-on-3. And if you score in the 5-minute overtime period, you win. Okay? If you don't, and you're still tied after 5 minutes, it goes to a shootout.
Is the goalie one of the threes?
No.
So you have 3 people out on the ice.
3 people on offense.
And 1 goalie.
1 goalie. Okay? So, again, if it goes to overtime, after that, it goes to a shootout. Okay?
Yeah.
A shootout, do you know what a shootout is?
Yeah.
Okay, 3 shooters, whoever gets the most, and then if you need more, you need more shooters.
They each got to shoot the points into it. Yeah.
Okay. Then, here's some extra dumb, okay? So let's say you're in the 3-on-3 overtime.
Yeah.
Okay? And one team gets a penalty. What do you think happens?
3-on-3 overtime. One of the 3 gets a penalty.
Yes.
They go into the penalty hole.
Yeah.
Okay.
And?
I keep playing.
You'd think.
Yeah.
Right?
And
And play 3-on-2?
Isn't that not the point of the penalty?
They don't play 3-on-2. At that point, they turn and they go 4-on-3.
What?
Yeah.
So
it's the opposite.
Every team gets an extra person?
The one team that didn't have the penalty who's on the power play gets an extra person. So
and another third person comes out because it's 4-3, not 4-2.
Exactly. So that person still goes to the box, but then they're still playing 4-on-3. So utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it makes sense. Yeah.
Here's the best part. And what I mean by best is the worst fucking part. Okay. So all of this already doesn't make sense. Okay. Second worst part.
Yeah.
The second worst part is that if you lose in overtime, like if you win in overtime, you get 2 points, just like you would if you won in regulation. Your team gets 2 points.
Okay.
If you lose in overtime, they give you 1 point.
That I don't understand.
That's fucking stupid.
You still lost.
Yeah. And so many of these playoff standings things they've got are based on overtime losses, when a team who doesn't go to overtime should be rewarded 1,000 times out of 1,000.
Yeah.
If they can finish their games in regulation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just think that's stupid. So 4-on-3, 3-on-3, 1 goal, shootouts, all fucking ridiculous. Okay?
But then it changes.
It changes. And I'll tell you why it's stupid. Why all of this is stupid.
Okay.
Because, and I know there's one listener that I know listens.
Yeah.
And he's listening in his car right now. And his name is Tim.
Oh, Tim.
And
you shout out to Tim.
He's shouting at the radio right now.
So
because we have had this argument time and time again. Okay. And then in the playoffs, what do you think they do for overtime?
Oh, man.
Using all the logic I've given you using all the logic and information I've given you, what do you think they do in the playoffs for overtime? Go.
Here's what I think they're going to do, especially with the changing, with the not having people hurt and that kind of going to the overtimes.
Yeah.
It goes in overtime. Playoff game.
Yeah.
A very quick, minimalistic bake-off. like a single cookie or muffin type of bake-off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Funny joke. I get it.
Yeah.
Now, B, give me the serious answer. Give me the serious answer.
Right. Serious.
What do you think, using all the knowledge I've given you, what do you think they do in the playoffs for overtime?
Okay. So basketball, they play more basketball. Football, everyone gets to keep making points for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
Baseball, they put a runner in the scoring position.
Yeah.
Because they want to speed up the game.
Yeah.
So hockey, speed up the game. They're going to put a puck, right? 2 pucks. One puck on the. This is my serious. They're going to put 1 puck on the blue line.
Okay.
And the other puck on the other, because there's 2 blue lines.
Okay. Yeah.
And then 2 ice out players.
Yeah.
And they're both going to attack the puck.
Yeah.
Together. And then at the same time for both ends, and they're going to shoot at either goalie.
And whoever scores first
wins.
You know, that's better than what they do.
Oh, thanks.
So what they do in the playoffs is they play 5-on-5 hockey.
So let's go back to hockey.
They do exactly what basketball does. They play 5-on-5 hockey, and they play until someone scores a goal. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, here's why I don't like it. Okay. And I actually like the overtime rules in the playoffs. Here's why I don't like the overtime rules in the regular season.
Yeah.
And I think it's fucking ridiculous. Why would you practice something all season long that you're never going to use in the playoffs?
Where it matters. Yes.
Why waste your fucking time and my fucking time
to
do something that doesn't matter when it counts.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Go.
As an avid sports fan across sports, what would you rather? What's more exciting to you? So you're in the playoffs. Your favorite team, the Blue Guys, is in the last hockey game.
Sure.
And it's final game 12, whatever it is, and it's go time. Okay, and they go to overtime.
Yeah.
Is it more exciting for you to watch another 5-minute period, or would you rather see a shootout?
I would 1,000 times out of 1,000 rather watch the next goal scores.
The 5-on-5.
5-on-5 next goal scores. And I'm going to go even a step further. I've already mentioned that NHL is my lowest rung of the four major sports. I believe the NHL overtime is still the most exciting of the four major sports.
Okay.
Because there's that anticipation of that goal that
the next point wins.
The next point wins.
Yeah.
So there's something to that I think is more exciting than the other four.
Okay.
And they ruin that during the regular season.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Baseball, hockey, football, basketball. Starting my number one.
Baseball, basketball, football, what?
Baseball, hockey, football, basketball.
Basketball's your number one?
Basketball's my number 5. Starting at number 1.
There's only 4 sports.
Baseball, number 1.
Okay.
Number 2 is hockey.
Yeah.
3 is football.
Yeah.
4.5 is basketball.
Okay.
I say half because they just keep playing the game.
Well,
nothing changes.
But I like that because it's a game of, I don't know. It's fouls and what did I say? Fouls and fatigue.
Yeah,
I love fouls and fatigue. I just like that.
That should be the name of your book that you write.
Fouls and fatigue.
Yeah.
My
your
take
memoirs.
on basketball.
Your memoirs. Corbyn's memoirs. Fouls and fatigue.
I've had 2 topics. What you got something for me?
Yeah, we don't. We usually have at this point in our podcast with a guest.
Yeah,
we get into some of their mental health practices and coping stuff. So, because you and I know each other so well, we've kind of done this early on in the podcast. We don't have a lot to talk about, but I did get to go through some interesting times with my wife recently, and I wanted to bring that up.
Okay,
I wanted to talk about that in case people find themselves in these situations and tell you what worked or what didn't work. And I'll preface this by 2 things. Yep. A, she's fine now.
Okay, good.
Oh, good. And B, she's read all of this, and she has said I'm okay to talk about it.
Okay, that's also good. That's also good.
No one come yelling at me that I was talking about my wife out of class here. So about 2 months ago, my wife had to be taken to the ER.
Yeah.
She had a gallbladder surgery prior to that, and it was removed completely, as it was, which is a very routine surgery.
Yes.
In the United States, they do over 750,000 gallbladder removals a year.
Did you find that stat on the internet?
I did.
Okay, just checking.
A lot of time to look into this. Mm-hmm. So it is a very routine surgery. So we had it done, came home, and within about 6 hours after getting home, she goes into incredible pain. Like
after the surgery.
After the surgery.
Oh, okay.
Got home, posted, but really, really, really intense, on the ground, not movable pain.
Oh, man.
So go to the ER. They just basically dope her up. They say it's just gas releasing from the surgery. Send her home. So we go back home. The next day, she has 3 more of these attacks, all pretty within quick succession. And like really bad ones, like really, really bad pain.
Oh my goodness.
So take her back to ER, and then that trip turns into 10 days of her being in the hospital with 3 surgeries.
Oh, okay.
From that trip.
See, and I don't know what I can ask you.
Ask whatever you want.
Well, I don't know what she's okayed.
I will tell you if it's okay. I'll tell you if it's not okay. No, she's supportive of this.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
You can ask away. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So basically, what happened was a bile duct that is kind of in the housing of where the gallbladder is.
Uh-huh.
So the gallbladder, it creates and processes bile that goes into your body and helps just take down food and that kind of thing. So one of the bile ducts around the bladder erupted when it was removed and began to leak bile into her abdomen.
Oh my goodness.
And around her organs. So bile is basically just a very, very caustic acid.
Yeah.
So it's just basically pouring acid on your organs and around your abdomen. So that's what was causing the pain. So I did do a lot. I had time to do a lot of medical background checking and whatnot. So, these type of, it's a very, like I said, it's a very common surgery.
Yeah.
750,000 a year in the States. Of that 750,000, between 0.3 to 0.7% has this happen. So it's super rare. Generally, it's a very super rare thing that a bowel duct would erupt or there'll be leakage like this in this type of surgery. Unfortunately, she had that happen. So that causes peritonitis, which is fluid filling up in your belly and your abdomen, which itself can cause dehydration and fluids loss. But if it's not treated very quickly, it very quickly turns into an infection.
Sepsis.
And then turns into sepsis. So sepsis is that fast-moving thing where the chemicals are going right into your bloodstream, and now everything swells and inflammates, and no more blood can flow to your heart, and you die. So that's where we started going.
Yeah.
So that once
took 3 surgeries to fix this,
and a 4th to remove everything after it's done. Yeah.
Holy
so 4
shit.
overall, but three to get in there and actually fix the problems.
Oh my goodness.
So that's kind of what we were dealing with out of the gate. So I don't want to get into the joys of dealing with our local health system, but more on how we dealt with that situation as a couple, individual, kind of going forward that way. So feel free to ask whatever you want as we go. If I know, I will tell you. Fresh out of the gate, that sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking shitty, man. To the day I die, I will never forget when she had the first attack. To the day I die, I'll remember it perfectly, crystal clear. It's locked in. It was like 10 p.m. at night. We're watching TV together in the house, and it was shocking how fast it happened. Wow. We're sitting on the couch watching TV. She's kind of got rid of most of the grogginess of the initial surgery, but it's just a day surgery to take gallbladder out. Just one day back and forth. She's got a little bit of the stitches that go away on their own, and that's about it. So
where in the abdomen is this? Like, show me where.
So the gallbladder's right here, and it's about, I'd say, 6 inches below your right breast pectoral. So it's down here. Yeah. It's kind of just off your stomach.
Yeah.
So, but how they do the surgery is they just do 3 tiny little cuts on your stomach, like maybe not quite an inch, and they put in 3 probes, like long skinny tubes, and one floods gas into your stomach, which makes you expand. The other one is a vacuum. The other one's a little tiny cutter with a camera. Like there's no more big incisions. They don't cut you wide open.
Okay.
It's just they're little tiny incisions that go in and they work.
Did the follow-up surgeries have a bunch of big incisions though?
Most of them were able to use the original cuts, but one of them is a little longer. But they can kind of go in and get everything out and do it that way. So it threw us off. So we're sitting there, she stands up, she kind of starts pacing a little bit, and I kind of ask what is wrong, and I can tell she's not listening to me because she's realizing she's this fucking pain's coming out of nowhere. So, and then boom, crumbles to the floor, heavy breathing, and I mean, she's dealt with pain before. Like, she's a very strong person that way. Like, she's not a whiner. I mean, as you know, you met my wife.
She looks like she would knock pain on its ass.
Yeah. So I was not in any way ready to see her kind of go into that condition, because I mean, in over 10 years of being together, not even close to anything like that I've ever seen. So like, it was so bad. Like, she was full on crying out in pain. Like, she thought she was having a heart attack by the pain she was having. Like, she thought she was having a full jammer. Like, it's right then and there. So I remember I didn't feel much of the time because my head went into work mode as it would, right? So deal with the problem, make people safe. After, that's how my fight or flight system works. Okay. So I remember at the moment, and I've talked to her about this after. I mean, I think it's a little off-putting because I go very professional, for lack of a better term, in that moment, because that's just how there's an emergency. That's just where my body goes. So the paramedics come. They get her all doped up, take her to the hospital, get her into the ER room, and the main attack was over. They kind of came in waves. I don't know if it's just certain acid moved at a certain time where your body couldn't do it. So she would have about half a dozen a day of these like really bad incredibly painful attacks.
And they completely misdiagnosed the problem on this.
Yeah, the first time they said it was gas, just releasing, because they say, oh, yeah, gas can be painful. So, yeah. But the second time it came back, the ER doctor was really good. He's like, you know what? Let's do a couple more tests because this is weird. And then that's how they found out what it was, which is good because everything I've read after, it's like if they don't diagnose this fast, you're gonna have a problem. They said all of the mortality rates off of this is because it was misdiagnosed.
Oh my goodness!
So I'm glad that second doctor came in, and it was actually it wasn't the second ER doctor. It was the surgeon who was on call that night, the gastrointestinal surgeon who came in, who was not the one who did the original surgery, but he said he's like what I'm not seeing anything right now. He's like, but how you're acting is strange. So we're going to do this other test extra, and if he didn't do that test, man, that would have been a problem.
How long between that test results and back in under the knife was it?
The first one was super quick. Yeah, once they realized probably within 16 hours of that test but that includes like getting the admitted and getting the room in the hospital and getting that, and then so it was like evening test, and then that next morning time she had the first surgery.
Wow.
And it was kind of in that moment. So we had her in the ER. She's they got her super doped up just to manage the pain because there's not much else they can do at that moment. They just got to keep the pain down. So get her super doped up, and that's kind of when my regular human brain came back and said, like, dude, you didn't even feel for her at the moment. Like, what you're being an asshole. Like, you didn't even show her compassion when she was in that worst moment. You just put on a work hat and were acting all professional. You didn't do it right. Yeah. Which I can't control, right? Knowing that. But at the time, I'm just sitting there, and that's everything else just kind of weighed on me. So I think I said, like, oh, I'll go find you a towel or something. And I went and found the utility closet, and I probably cried for 20 minutes. Just because then all of it hit me, right? Like, your first time seeing someone you care more than anything for going through that kind of pain that you can't do anything. Yeah. Feeling bad because you don't feel like you dealt with it properly at the time for their sake, which again, you can't control that looking back on it, but you're still going to just run through all the bad stuff and go through the emotions. So yeah, like I found a little closet because I didn't want to do that in front of her because she's scared, rightfully so. And because I remember at the time, she didn't know when it started, she didn't know how bad it could have gone, but I heard the paramedics after they had doped her up when they were taking her out, they were whispering, oh, sepsis or peritonitis and that kind of stuff. And I've seen that before. So that kind of put a bit of the fear of God into me when we first got to the ER. So I didn't want her to be scared by that. So that's why I went and hid somewhere in the hospital to feel anything at that moment. Which was kind of the scary part. So that day I'll never forget. Yeah. Because that was just fucking nuts. So that led to 10 days of the hospital, which is a trek in and of itself if anyone's spent long time in a hospital anywhere. So basically how it would look day to day, she would have these attacks in her room, which she would, when it would happen, they would just give her basically a fancy fentanyl shot just to deal with the pain to fight that attack because it lasted that 10-15 minutes before it calmed down on its own. But it would come and she would kind of say, oh, it's happening, and I would go get a nurse, and the nurse would say, oh yeah, she would be right there. 10 to 15 minutes would go by, and I'm sitting there waiting, watching my wife go through this pain, and they're just, slow getting in there, not coming, doing whatever they're doing nurse-wise, and she's just sitting there going through that. So that 10 days of not being able to do anything was kind of that first, what I would say, true moments that I've experienced helplessness, as I would say it. Yeah. Yeah. Like just truly there was nothing you can do. That's a scary feeling. Hard to, you talk about it a lot, and sometimes in the part-time job you see it, but yeah, until you're actually there and you're like, man, like there's nothing I can do. And even if your spouse or whoever is saying, oh, this is, bad or help me, or they're just, they can't deal with pain. Whether
they're not even thinking.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. Yeah. That sucked. So I stayed at the hospital with her for the first 6 days, sleeping in a chair thing that was beside her bed. And I didn't sleep once. Like, you try at night, but it's a hospital. They came in every 2 hours to do vitals or change a bag or do something. There's also construction going on that same floor the entire time we were there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so you had 6 days of no sleep, and it really turns into a bad combination of nothing but shitty feelings. You're not sleeping. She's not sleeping. And it took a few good long chats from some family and friends to make me realize that if I wasn't taking care of myself to a point that I can't take care of her. So, which is true now looking back. Because I was useless at that stage. Like I was just running on no sleep.
Yeah.
I that part I have a hard time remembering because nothing worked and I wasn't sleeping. So I started going home each night and then coming back in the morning. And at least I could think straight after that. Like I could actually be there to speak to a surgeon if they came in or doctors. Because before I just didn't want to leave. Right, you wanted to be there in case anything happened or if I needed to deal with it. But again, there's not much I could deal with, right? You're just trying to form what control you can, even if it's not real, is kind of what I found myself doing. Like, at least I'm here, I can deal with the problem. But there's no problem there I could deal with either way, right?
Yeah.
I was just getting myself shittier. So that conversation with people, that was a good conversation to have because they kind of put a little bit more reality saying, look, you have to be in a situation where you can be there. And you're just shit right now. So that was good. So 3 surgeries go by. She's sent home for 3 weeks. She's got tubes and drains in her for all this leakage and extra stuff we got to catch. And then a 4th surgery, which was about 3 weeks ago now, 2-3 weeks ago, to remove all the items that were still inside. So she's much better now and on the mend. So that's good. She has
still probably recovering from the trauma of 5 surgeries though.
Yeah. It's like and part of the really good things about her is that she's a very driven individual, and she likes to work and she likes to be busy and she likes to that, but she's never had that much of a medical concern or trauma for it. And it's hard for you to realize how much your body needs to recover after that kind of hit, right? Mm-hmm. So I think she came home out of that 4th surgery. She missed 2 days of work and then went back to work.
That's silly.
Yeah. It's just because she was tired of not being at work. Like she was just tired of, she felt like she was being lazy,
yeah.
Right? Which obviously she wasn't, but that's just how she went and dealt with it. But you got to be prepared for that long-term mend of your body.
Yeah.
But she's getting there. So she has a large family, and mine on top of it. It was interesting to see how different people would react to someone who was sick like that. Was another thing I kind of noticed when I was sitting there. Whether it's friends or families that came by, like some would be very quiet and stand there. Some would avoid even coming anywhere near the place. Some were in there like a dirty shirt, wanting to know every little bit of details. They're nonstop. Some just want to know the details and that's it.
Yeah.
And don't want to reach out. Like it was interesting to see that because everyone's genuinely concerned and caring. It's just it was interesting to see all these how different people, because you don't really know what to say and everything what to do, right? Like
I knew that she was sick, but I didn't know like 5 surgeries sick.
Yeah.
Like that was insane.
Yeah.
I was just going by what you were saying. You looked okay. I'm like, okay, she might be okay.
Yeah, and that's I mean, how I grew up in a family where it was very much you don't talk about the problems, you don't admit or show problems, you don't. That's just you keep that behind the closed door and nobody else knows about it. Yeah, so that's still something to this day that I deal with. So when everyone asks, is how she's doing, I'm like, oh, she's better. I mean, she's in between surgeries and fighting off sepsis and infection, but. That's just my reaction because part of it I think was I was just afraid to talk about it because I didn't want to start breaking down in front of people and that's also showing it. But but it was, at the end of the day, it is nice though, is that regardless of how they go about it, there's still people who are concerned because they care. And sometimes it felt like I even grew a little resentful at sometimes because I was updating all these fucking people over text or everything about,
Yeah, get your fucking ass down here.
Yeah, that's going on. Okay, this happened. Okay, she's like this today. Or okay, it was like this. But that, that was just me. It's people wanting to know because they cared.
Yeah.
And that's all that truly mattered, right? But you just add in all the immediate issues and that kind of thing. So, If I did come across as an asshole to anybody who's listening, I do apologize.
But also, suck it.
Yeah. You can also kind of suck it.
Let me. You have more there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no, go,
Yeah,
please. I'm going to ask my questions after.
Yeah, it was. Looking back now that we're about a month in the clear, just seeing how my brain was dealing with this nonstop emotion and how it would either lash out at certain things or just turn off on certain things. Like, I've never been a very emotional person to begin with in the grand scheme of things, like my entire life. So I think one of the really nice things about even it's gotten better generally as a group of people, but even doing this show, and I would think about this, and I knew early on that this was something that I wanted to come and talk about on the show, because I really do believe in us communicating when these things happen and finding that camaraderie in shared experience, or being prepared if something like this happens, that if you're not willing to talk about it after, you're just setting someone else up to suffer the same way you did. Yeah. Which I don't want.
Or you suffering again.
Right. Because you don't know what someone else has had to go through. Yeah. So I knew early on, because we were already doing the show when this happened, that I wanted to bring this at some point. And a part of that did make it easier, because when I would find myself going down that rabbit hole of either getting mad at myself because I felt like I wasn't doing enough, or I was doing the wrong thing, or I wasn't doing the right thing to help her, or I was getting mad at other people because I didn't feel like they were doing enough, or they were doing too much, or these fucking medical staff or shit. Like, you're just lashing out, right? Yeah. Having to be able to come back to this show and these conversations with you, it honestly kept me. It gave me that level to come back to. Yeah. So when I'd find myself going in those dark play or the holes or getting mad, I'd say, okay, but this is why we have this outlet. We have this outlet so we can come back and we talk about it. We have that to share the experience. And that alone, I was able to use a lot of that to really guide me through a lot of the shittier, darker times. Because again, I was too scared to talk to her about it at the time, because her plate was pretty fucking full. Yeah. Right? I was just there to help with what needed to be helped with. And I mean, we've had obviously a lot of chats since then, but without that immediate outlet, because I don't have that talk about with people naturally too much. So knowing that, gave me time to plan my thoughts, whether it was writing things down as they happened after the time. Like, I'd pull up my little phone after a certain day and I'd make notes with the idea to come here and talk to you about them. But also, I found that in and of itself was an alleviation of some of the day, right? Even just getting those thoughts on paper, or, right or wrong, also helped. So that led into some suggestions from Tanner that I can give if people find themselves in a situation. But in the meantime, go with the questions.
Well, it wouldn't be radical apathy if we didn't ask some radical apathy questions. So, first off, I want to know, because first off, I know your wife pretty well. Yeah. She's a why person. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. She wants to know the why.
Yes, she does.
Did she light up some of these doctors and nurses, or no?
I tell you, I'm waiting for it. So my wife, as you well know, but for our audience, if there is ever a problem at a dinner table, like I order onion rings and they brought me fries, I would just be like, yeah, okay, I'll eat fries. Yeah. But no. She will talk to everyone who's ever worked at that fucking restaurant until I got onion rings. But she's like, no, you're going to have onion rings.
We're giving you onion rings.
Like, that is her. And I love her for it, because I never would. I would just sit there and be like, okay, I'll just have fries. That's okay. But no, she will fix it.
Exactly.
Absolutely, she would. And here's one of the reasons that really concerned me, is that she was in such a state that she couldn't do any of it.
Oh, no.
She couldn't she would try her best, and I could see her fighting it. Like, I could see the brain part of her fighting it, but what she was going through was so great that it was overriding her natural response to situations. So I had to. There was a time where I actually had to. I fucking gave it to a couple nurses that came in there, and you'll see in my suggestions later, I don't hold any malice towards nurses. I truly know how shitty their job is and how tough it is, and we're one of fucking 36 people on the floor. I do understand that. But one of them took way too long to come and help in one of her early on episodes of pain. So when they came in and they finally did it, I fucking lost my shit on them.
What'd you say? I don't know what you said.
Long story short, I basically just said this, like them coming in late, I'm like, will never happen again. Ever. And I'm like, and I didn't realize at the time, but there's just the one door into the room, and it's a 2-bedroom room with just the sheet blocking her.
Yeah.
I'm blocking them from leaving. Like, I didn't realize at the time, like my body language would have been very not good, because I'm blocking the door and I'm making them stand there and not letting them leave until they kind of walked away. I was like, ooh, I might have been more aggressive than I thought I should have. But that was one of those moments of just lashing out, right? Like you can't control anything, and these fucking people are making my wife hurt more, and they're not doing what they should be doing as fast as they should be. And in reality, they probably are. Like, someone could have been having a leg fall off in the next room for all I know, right? But I don't give a fuck, because it's not my wife.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I hold no ill will to the nurses at all. But in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You said you didn't sleep for 6 days.
Yeah.
So you said you had to take care of yourself a little bit to take care of her. What did you do to take care of yourself in that moment?
So it was, I did nothing for self-help until I started going home at night to sleep.
You did go home. Okay.
Yeah. So that was some family and friends coming and be like, hey, look, you can't stay here. Like, they would come and I remember my mom came for 2 or 3 days to stay with Jaylyn, because part of me, I think, was also asking for it. I'm like, can someone, because I didn't want to leave her alone. I didn't want her to be alone.
Yep.
So I said, my mom kept offering, and I said, no, it's fine. And then like 6 days go by, and I'm like, okay, well, if you want to come spend some time here, then I'll go home for the day and do laundry or something to bring back some clothes.
Right.
So, because at least, and right or wrong, it's just that I know my mom. I know I feel safe with my mom doing it, right? Just because that's just how it is. So my mom came, who loves Jaylyn way more than she loves me. So she came up and she sat there. So I thought, okay, well, at least if Mary Lou's there, I can go. So I would go home and do laundry, and then right away I'd come back, and as any mother would, she's like, no, you look like shit. You can't stay here anymore. And other people did. They said, you can't just be here. Like, you have to be in a state where you can take care of her. So you have to go home and sleep. So I started doing that. So I would be there till 8:39ish. Basically, when they would give her last 4-hour shot of hard medicine to try and help her sleep, is when I would leave.
Okay.
So I would go home, and I would do one of two things. I would go home to an empty, dark house, and I would sit on a couch and turn on Netflix and stare at a wall for 2 hours before I went to bed. Or I would go into my computer room and turn on, like, Call of Duty, like a no nonsense whatever, and just sit there. I'm sure I was moving the controller in my hand, but I don't even remember if I was looking at the game. Like, just that immediate moment of compression that I would normally go to on my day-to-day life. After that was, I don't remember it. Like, I would just literally sit there for probably a couple hours before I go to bed, just decompressing any of that feeling for any of it.
So once your wife was on the other side of it, at that point, was she like, why the fuck did this get, like, at that point, why did this get misdiagnosed? And how do I, what's my recourse or any of that stuff? Like,
no, she's like, a recourse aspect has never really been a thing for her. But, like, I think I think she's looked at it very well.
Yeah.
I mean, or dealt with it well, probably more than I would. But yeah, she's a researcher at heart. Like you said, she's a why person.
Yeah.
She will find that answer. And probably for the first week after coming home, when she still had some of the drains and stuff in her, I mean, I told her, I'm like, look, don't go on the medical journals and start looking up everything. Like, you don't do that. But of course she's going to, right? So she just needs to, she wants to know and go there. And yeah, so she spent just hours just going through stuff and finding out what this meant or what that meant or how this went. And she'd call me and she said, hey, this should have been this, or this probe means this thing, or this stent is supposed to be, she come. It's just, that's a lot of how her coping and understanding mechanism works, is that she will research the fuck out of everything.
Did you bring her Steam Deck while she was in the hospital?
I did, and I downloaded the Tomb Raider remastered trilogy.
Oh, that's a
for her.
I've done the first 2 games. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
She's a big Tomb Raider fan.
She got to crush some stuff then.
Only for a little bit.
Yeah?
Because it was just, she couldn't.
It was too much pain.
Yeah.
Constant pain.
Yeah.
So it wasn't spaced out as attacks as much as it was starting to be a constant pain.
Oh, yeah. There was always constant pain.
Yeah.
Which would always hover around a 7.5 out of 10.
Jesus.
And then she would have 6 or 7 attacks a day, which would shoot it to 1,000.
And this is after the first surgery or the second?
Yeah. It's up until the third one, because the first one was just safety, like just going in there and finding things and pulling stuff out. And the third one, final one, was like installing what's called a stent, a little plastic detour device, which I think is kind of the main fixer. But yeah, it was just for 10 days. That was her 10 days.
Oh man.
Yeah.
God, I'm so sorry that happened. I'm glad she's okay.
Yeah.
We're all happy she's okay.
So going through all this, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. Going through all this, I have...
Tell me some lessons.
I have some lessons for you guys to take home if you find yourself going down this road with families or loved ones. Is don't hide all your emotions. Talking with my wife after, she had no idea at the time how I felt or how much it was affecting me till much later, which was my goal, right? I didn't want her to have to go through those affects, but I probably could have used that hand in the moment, and I carried too much of that, and to the point now, like I said, because that shit's locked in my brain. She got up last night to go to the bathroom, just as you do in your age.
Yep.
And it woke me up. And when she came back, I'm like, "Are you okay?" And I didn't realize. And she said this morning, she's like, "You sounded so worried when you asked me how I was going to the bathroom." But that's just that. I mean, PTSD, for lack of a better word, just kicks in. Like, oh my God, what's happening now, right?
Yeah.
So don't hide that. Don't be afraid to ask for help. At first, I didn't want any. It was, hey, this is my wife. Leave me alone. Right? Yeah. I'm here for my wife. I'll take care of it, which is a very stupid thing to do. So grab supports early, because day 6 with no sleep and doing it alone is just bad for you and bad for your loved one who's in this shitty situation. So
for sure,
don't be afraid to ask for help. I wrote just be, just be in the moments. Do your best to be available, be aware of yourself. Don't be thinking down the road like, oh my God, if she dies, what does this mean, right? Don't push yourself into the mental loop. I know it's a lot easier thing than said to be done, but if you have those moments, try to focus on just being at the time as much as you can, because a lot of those late nights in the dark room, and there's only a few ways your brain can go if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And lastly, bring snacks for nurses. I started doing that. I started bringing.
What did you bring them?
It was the day after my little confrontation in the room there. I would bring either like Timbits or some cookies or something to the shift. Like I'd bring them and say, "Oh, here you go, girls. Thanks," because I got to know us pretty well. We were there, and wouldn't you know it, I felt like our service fucking went up a little bit. Yeah, wow. Once you started offering the goods, to people. So bring and again. I don't hold any ill will at Alternative. Like I know their job sucks. A lot of them were wonderful, wonderful people, and some of them were really, really good with her. And I know their jobs are tough. So Noah will bring them some snacks. They are doing their best. But that was kind of now. I'm going to tell you now the funny story that came out of this.
Tell me this stuff. Yeah.
To kind of put out a funny story.
Yeah.
So I'm in my late 30s. My wife is in her early 30s. And while she is super hot, I would not say that she looks like she's 19.
Okay.
Is that fair, Corbyn? You've seen her?
That's a fair assessment.
Would you say she was 19 years old if you looked at her?
She's not 19.
Okay. All right. So twice while in the hospital, I had two separate medical professionals ask me if I was, or basically talk to me like I was her father, assuming she was 19 years old. On two separate occasions. So, Corbyn, how old do I appear? Because, let's be honest, wife in a hospital was bad, but people thinking I look old, okay, we need to really figure out what the real problem is.
We got to work on this.
This is the real issue.
Yeah.
Okay? So how old do I look? Do I look like I have a 19-year-old child?
Okay, move your head away from the microphone so I can look at you. You know, dude, I don't even think you look 40.
Well, I'm not 40, so that's good.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, you're like, I would say 35.
Yeah,
35, 36.
Thank you. And this was not joking. This was not making light. They genuinely thought I was her father.
How old was the people giving that?
They were all
assessment?
older than I was.
All older.
All
than
of
you.
them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they ID you?
No.
No.
It felt really personal, really attacked. Like, I know she had a lot of pain, but I don't think she had to go through what I went through at those moments.
Yeah. No.
Have people think I was that? Old,
You're
right?
the victim here.
Right. Well, I appreciate you noticing that.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
This is the final radical apathy question I'll ask about this. You were in that moment. You said you'll always remember where you were when that first attack happened.
Yeah.
What were you watching on Netflix?
We were watching Bob's Burgers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll always remember Bob's Burgers because of this situation.
The specific episode, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, Bob's Burgers. It's a good show, though. I still like it.
Best wishes out to Jaylyn.
Yes.
And make sure that she's safe and healthy, and she makes sure she takes care of herself. And don't go back to work too soon. Make sure you're all the way there, or else that's no good for you either.
Yeah, take care of yourself. Don't be afraid to reach out. And, if you need something, you can always ask Corbyn and I, too.
Yeah.
We're around. Corbyn, I got some homework for you.
Oh, please. If it's have a disease, I'm going to be upset.
Go get chlamydia.
Been there.
I need...
Just give me the pills, Doc.
This is more of a sociological experiment.
Okay.
Okay. We've done geopolitical.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
So this is more sociological. Okay.
I just can't get a fucking grapefruit from you. Hey, it's got to be these things.
This one I think you'll enjoy.
All right, let's go.
I need you to spend a day.
A whole day?
Yeah. Whatever you're doing that day. Like, just go about your normal day.
Okay.
But you need to wear two different shoes and see how many people notice or say anything to you.
Okay, I can do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it?
That's what I need. Yeah. Just document who says what to you if anyone notices, but two completely different shoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do this.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like this.
That's it. Yeah. Take that one.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. That'd be a fun one.
Man.
Yeah. That's it. You got anything else?
Let me look at my list.
Yeah. What do you got on the list?
Let me look at my list. Oh, look at my face. There we go. Oldsmobile 88. No. Keanu Reeves 39. The last thing I'll talk about is... I watched The Fugitive with my wife the other day.
Oh, great movie.
Do you remember The Fugitive?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really good movie, hey?
Really good movie.
And I noticed something. And once I tell you this, you're not going to be able to unthink it.
Do I want to hear this, though?
I want you... This might be my homework in the future.
Okay.
I want you to watch Harrison Ford movies. And no matter what age he is in the movie...
Yeah.
When he runs,
same run.
He looks like he's 80 years old with every time he runs.
Yeah, yeah.
Even when he's like shaking his arms.
Weird arm movement.
It looks like it's so strenuous for him to run. And in this movie, he's like 40, and he looks absolutely ridiculous.
And he's a doctor.
And he's a doctor.
Yeah.
He looks absolutely ridiculous
and
when he's running in
big fucking sweater he wears. Yeah.
He I just want you to pay attention to Harrison Ford running. Listeners, when you watch a Harrison Ford movie, watch him run, and then take note of his age when he's running. He looks absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's all I want to
watch him run in Star Wars. He does the same thing.
Yeah, Star Wars.
He gaggle runs when he's in Star Wars,
Indiana
too.
Jones, The Fugitive.
Yeah.
I watched Air Force One the other day.
Does he run in Air Force One?
He runs across the plane and runs at Gary Oldman.
And jumps on right.
Jumps on him.
Yeah.
Because he's the president of the United States.
Get off my plane.
Get off my plane. You know what, though? Haven't watched Air Force One in forever.
It's still a great movie.
You know what? Here's some bangers for Harrison Ford, okay?
Yeah.
Harrison Ford bangers.
Yeah.
Air Force One.
Yeah.
The Fugitive.
Great movie.
Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah.
Patriot Games is so good.
Patriot Games is really good.
Just love those movies.
Yeah,
man.
Star Wars. He makes
those mid 90s, late 90s action movies were flipping great.
And he's coming out to the new Captain America movie.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I know. That's smart.
We'll see. I'm not really interested in that, I don't think.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that
Ladies and
is radical apathy.
That is radical apathy. Guys, remember, no matter what is going on, whether it's having to shit while you're behind an Oldsmobile 88
Or a loved one in the hospital.
or a loved one in the hospital, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Remember, it doesn't matter.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Apathy is key.
We will be back in a fortnight's time. You guys have a great time. Corbin, pleasure as always, my friend.
You too, sir.
And we're out. Love you guys.